What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin, and today I'm coming at you with learning how to play for Rose Dragons, and let me tell you, the fucking gall of this archetype astounds me. Okay, just the the things it asks you to do and expect from it, and just, this deck infuriated me. It's not good, and just, let's just get into the deck profile, and I think the perfect place to start with this would be the only good card in this I guess archetype. The only one you should really care about, Crossroads Dragon. So it is a Link 2 dragon with 800 attack points. Requires two monsters of different types, and during the main phase, which is either main player's main phase, you contribute it and a plant monster to special summon a Rose Synchro or a Plant Synchro from your extra deck, counting as a Synchro summon. And if a monster you control is destroyed by card effect while it's in the grave, except during the damage step, you can banish it, revive the Rose Dragon monster from your grave. It is a hard once per turn. So, obviously, what you need to do with this deck is get two monsters on the field with different attributes, which most of the time is going to be White Rose Dragon and a plant. Whatever plant it is, I don't know, but basically those are the two special summoning conditions. So it's going to be those two. At which point, you tribute them off, and then you make Crossroads. And it expects you to, be able to put a third plant on board. Probably Spore, I guess, because this does send plants. Oh, wait, no, I forgot. Or I actually didn't, because I was trying to make a transition here. This only sends level 4 and above plants. Okay, why didn't you make it so this could send Spore, so you would be able to banish whatever plant you were using for it, and then summon it back, which will reveal your... Why wouldn't you do that? All you're doing is getting a Black Rose Dragon. That's not that hard. But anyways, Black Rose Dragon blows up the board. I guess you could also summon Black Rose Moonlight Dragon if you want to bounce a level 5 or higher special summon monster. I guess that's cool as well. Queen of Thorns is pretty neat. Each player has to pay 1,000 for each non-plant type they summon. And I guess Splendid Rose is okay. It reduces something's attack, so it's cool in a niche situation. But yeah, the basic game plan of this deck is make Crossroads, use its effect to summon Black Rose Dragon, blow up the board, use Crossroads effects from the graveyard to bring back your Black Rose Dragon, and then hope your opponent has no way to recover. Now you might be wondering, how do we get there? So we have a few ways. For starters, White Rose Dragon, when it's normal 7, lets you summon a Rose Dragon from your hand. However, you don't want to use that normal summon effect. You want to use its in-hand effect, which lets you special summon as long as you control a dragon or plant type tuner. For that we have Copy Plant, Spore, Rose Girl, Rose Princess. We have a few options. We also have our Lone Fire Blossom, so of course we have multiple ways of getting to those if we need to. So that's perfectly fine and well, I guess. Other Rose Dragons we control, though, we have Blue Rose, which can really be ran at 1 or 2 if you want. Basically, it just, when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, it floats into Black Rose Dragon or a plant in your graveyard. Red Rose Dragon, if it's sent to the graveyard, Synchro Material lets you special summon a Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck, except itself. And then if it was used for Black Rose Dragon or a plant, you can add Frozen Rose or your Blooming of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand. Just going over what they do real fast. Frozen Rose, quick play, lets you tribute a monster. If it's a plant, you draw 2 during the end phase and discard 1. If it's a non-plant, you rota for a plant monster. The second effect is okay. Too bad we need a lot of plants in this deck for it to function. And Blooming of the Darkest Rose is fine, I guess. It lets you special summon the rose tokens like you would get from Dark Garden. equal to the number of field spells that are either controlled by you or in the graveyards. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target a black rose dragon or plant in a monster zone to banish it, and then you can place this back on the bottom of the deck, and then it comes back during the end phase. So that's honestly not a bad card if you're doing a more black garden focused build, which I am not. Instead, I decided to play White Rose Cloister. Basically, if you control no monsters, you can special summon a rose dragon or a plant monster from your hand as a hard once per turn. And during your draw phase, before you draw, you can guess what you're going to draw. And if you're right, it gives all level 7 or higher synchro monsters 1,000 attack. So that's pretty neat. I guess it makes your Black Rose Dragon hit harder. Though this is not necessary most of the time. The tuner you're going to want to use mostly is Rose Princess, which special summons it if only your opponent controls monsters anyways, and treats itself as a tuner. It is a hard once per turn, and you can discard it in order to add the White Rose Cloister. We mostly have it for this special summon, because I'll tell you outright, this deck really wants to go second. So keep that in mind. Beyond that, though, the other tuners we have are Rose Girl, which special summons itself from your hand if a face-up plant you control is sent to the graveyard. This, in theory, is supposed to synergize with Crossroads Dragon, because you can summon your plant tuner, summon White Rose Dragon, send them both to the graveyard to make Crossroads, and because something was sent to the graveyard, you'll be able to summon your Rose Girl from your hand. But that involves opening three specific cards, so that's not good. But, it's the best you can do, I guess, sometimes. Spore is probably the best plant. If it's in your grave, you can banish another plant from your graveyard to special it and increase its level by that monster's level. It is a once per duel effect, but it actually makes Crossroads Dragon work with some amount of consistency, so never go without it. Balbaboon is pretty cool. It's a good consistency booster. When it's summoned by any means, you can draw a card, then you put a card on the top or bottom of your deck. And when it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon any number of it from your deck. So what you can do is summon it, stack the deck, or get rid of a card you don't want, Fragrance Storm it, then you get 2 link material out of your deck, so that's okay, as well as 2 more procs of its ability, so cool. Then our last monster is just Copy Plant. It's another level 1, so it's something else we can use with 1-for-1, and it can copy the level of a plant on the field. So yeah, it's I basically explained everything you need to know about this deck because it is wild at times. Like I said, the basic only play you're going to be making is Crossroads, hope you have Spore to extend or Rose Girl in hand, go into a Black Rose Dragon or a Plant Synchro. If you're going first, it's honestly probably good to try to go into Queen of Thorns. Or if you have the proper level 7s, which you can actually get fairly consistently with this deck, you can make something like Dawn Dragster, Quantum Dragon, or Samurai Destroyer, I guess. But you could really fill these slots with any other level 7s you wanted to. Let's see, but now for our spells, already went over 1-for-1. Fragrance Storm, because it actually kind of synergizes with Rose Princess if you are managing to go second, because if you summon a plant, activate Fragrance Storm to pop your plant, get your draw, maybe get another, at which point your opponent likely controls monsters, so you can special summon your Rose Princess because you don't control monsters anymore. So that's honestly kind of neat. Call by the Grave, because this is the type of deck where an Ash stops it, so we don't want to have to deal with that. We already went over White Rose Cloister, Frozen Rose. Last card we have is Super Solar Nutrient, because Lone Fire by itself handles half of what this deck needs to do, and I want to be able to get to my Lone Fire as much as possible, as well as putting like a Spore or something into the graveyard, so Yeah, no, I want to search Lone Fire. That's basically that. Let's see, what else? Extra deck, the rest of it, Crossroads we went over, we had the Nightmare package for removal. A Link Karibo, because we do have several level 1 monsters in our deck. It also gives us another way to proc Rose Girl's effect to potentially make Crossroads Dragon. Already went over those. I think that's everything for the side deck, which it consists of free Nibiru, because not much can stop the rock. Free Gamsail in case we need to drop a turtle on it. Free Lightning Storm in case going second is, I don't know, preferable in any way compared to what we can already do going second. So yeah. Cosmic Cyclone, because it is a little bit more efficient spell trap removal. Normally I would go Twin Twisters, but given the nature of some spell traps that I've been going up against and testing a lot lately, this made more sense. Forbidden Droplet, because it lets us set up our graveyard as well as handle Dragoons. And 1 red reboot for the trap heavy matchup. So yeah, that's the deck. As you can probably tell, I'm not a fan of this one, but I will explain why I'm not a huge fan of this one when we get into the replays. Normally I would have more, just, where I go over all the combos and plays and stuff, but I think I got one that really just shows what this deck does, basically all the time, so only gonna have one this time. But yeah, all that being said, let's get into the replay. Alright, welcome to the replay with Julie is Cute. We are Tab as usual, and as you can see, we are playing against some top tier Fluffle here. The MST, yeah, you know what that MST is for. You know what's up. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So we are going second, which is ideal for us, thankfully. So yeah, our opponent is going to go ahead and start making some plays. Not super worried about Fluffle going first, but he is going to be able to put some monsters on board, MSTing the toy window to get the search, which he'll use for Dog searching wings, making Baguska, passing. I mean, it could have been worse, honestly. Yeah, but we are honestly in a super good position here with this hand. So we're going to go ahead and activate our White Rose Cloister. We're then going to use our 1-for-1, ditching the Rose Princess to go ahead and get our Spore out. Then we're going to use Super Solar Nutrient to get our Lone Fire from deck. Then with Spore, we're going to bring it back. Then we're going to make Nightmare Cerberus because Crossroads can't attack over Octopus or Baguska. So we just do that right now so we can set up for the wipe next turn. However, our opponent is just going to set, we're going to use Crossroads effect to declare a monster. However, White Rose. However, that doesn't quite work out for us. But we do have Balbaboon and Fragrance Storm, which is pretty good. So we do the pop thing, get the copy plant. Then we're going to use Balbaboon to get 2 more monsters. Balbaboon effects proc twice, like so. Then we're going to make Crossroads Dragon, use its effect because we do have a Balbaboon on the field. Go ahead and make Black Rose, wipe the board, Crossroads brings it back. And now we get to the scary part of how playing this deck. You see, because now we just attack with Black Rose. Okay, that's our game plan from here. That is the move. However, if our opponent is able to recover, and even in a bad build of Fluffle, because you know what's up when your opponent's playing MST to pop their own toy vendor. He can't recover. Our friend here cannot have any form of recovery if we are to win this. So this is now where the deck becomes Black Rose Beatdown. So we go ahead and just set a few things like our calls and stuff, preparing for hand traps and defending ourselves the best way we possibly can. And here fuck me, I just realized I could have used Black Rose effects this turn to turn up the Edge Imp Chain and get a little more damage. and actually win. So yeah, this loss is actually kind of on me, but you'll see what I mean here in a second. So yeah, he's gonna go ahead and evenly. We're going to lose it anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead. I try to go ahead and hit the 2 best Fluffle cards. So get rid of those. We're left with our Black Rose, and now our opponent just kind of goes in, I guess. Like nothing's stopping them. So like, what? Why would they not? Why would they not make plays here? So they're doing Fluffle things. I've made a video on Fluffle. I might do it again at some point, but right now I would rather not focus on that. So he makes the new one, goes ahead and pops our Black Rose, gets a search off of the toy vendor pop. Then he just kind of does what Fluffle does and attacks for gain, as you might expect him to do. And that's the game. And I feel like this really shows what the deck does perfectly. It gives you some light extra deck access, but its only goal is to wipe the board and hope your opponent can't recover, which I suppose is a perfectly fine tactic for, I don't know, I guess against less powerful decks, but the majority of decks you come up against are decently powerful nowadays, at least powerful enough to like not be completely blown back by a board wipe. So this archetype isn't even, it's not great, and the worst part is you can't even like make the consistent play of the board wipe, because for some reason White Rose Dragon can't send Spore. Like, it should be able to send Spore. Let it send Spore, Konami, please. It's not even honestly that broken. It's still not even a plant, and I wish this deck was better. I really do, but it's just, it's not. It's just so not. The best advice I can give on playing this deck is play a Black Garden variant. That's honestly pretty solid for a deck. But yeah, so that's the video. Let me know if there's any ways I can make this deck more functioning, if that's even possible. If there's any decks you want me to try out, any weirdness, I'm always down for weirdness. But yeah, all that being said, like if you liked, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.